Hi, I want to introduce to you today the One Move app. It's addressing the gaps to improve public transport in Paris suburbs. My ambition is for a maximum number of people not to commute without it, as you can see on the logo. The current situation is that the major areas of frustration and potential improvements of commuting when living in the Paris suburbs have emerged as follows. Number one, security came to the top. Public transport has a reputation of being insecure in this region, especially for women traveling alone, old people, and people with exterior signs of wealth. So this is one of the reasons bubbling up that people are thinking twice before jumping on it. Comfort and environment comes second. The journey experience can vastly be improved in adding personalized services like a street view when you're stuck in the metro, especially underground, augmented with interactive historic or touristic information that comes on top and tells you more about where you are, knowing that friends may be on the same commute, maybe 2 wagons behind you, or you want to use that time you're on the public transport to prepare for your shopping, your groceries when you get home, or your medication, and then picking it up at the destination at the retailer of your choice. Also, you can be offered some activities along the way, like collaborative gaming. People are gaming a lot on their mobile phone on public transport, but not really with the people around them. So that could be fun. Or visit a museum or a point of interest along the way. So that's something, or some of the ideas that can really improve the comfort and the environment of the journey. And then the third element is the quality. It starts with planning for your best route, comparing the different transport modes, or even a mix of it. Like, I'm going to go to the train station using a bike or a scooter, and then I can connect to the public transport network in the Paris region because I live a bit far. Optimize the time. You want to be fast to destination. The route, maybe you don't want to walk too much, or maybe you do want to walk a lot. Also, the cost is an interesting ingredient, and something that is dear to my heart: CO2 emission. You want to save the planet. The number of steps on, so all of those elements on one hand. Then you want to use that to be in a personalized conversation with the regional transport organization as a whole during the journey, so you can get some guidance, some alerts for your transfer, maybe, or changing routes because there are some things happening along the way. Security as well, being able to get some help. And you want to pay the best price for your journey. Maybe you travel once, or maybe you travel every day and you want the organization to give you the best price for that and the best subscription for that, and for you not to have to think about it. And you want to get also immediate tangible rewards about your journey. So there's a gap that we can be filled with one mobile application, including it all. And that's what we've been prototyping. The recent learning of that prototyping exercise is, first, we did the mobile app prototype. So we co-designed with a variety of people, men, women, regular public transport users, and personal car addicts. I've discovered how much security was important, much more than I anticipated with my assumptions, being a man, for instance, especially for women, and how much people didn't use apps to help them plan and compare the different transport modes, unaware of their savings compared to the use of the personal car. First person to have an aha moment was my wife when she saw how much it was costing to go from where we live to the center of Paris with the car, and what she could save on the public transport, which was news to her. And also how much time they can save, because going to Paris over a car and finding a parking spot could be longer and could be much more stress. When discovering via the prototype and the envision end game of what we wanted to do with the app and how much fun they could get along the way, and be informed and in conversation to optimize their commute, I tested many aha moments during the prototyping as well as the iterations. Future opportunities, well, I want to create a mobile app along the lines of the developed prototype, as well as a giant interactive touchscreen that I figured on this slide, a little bit tricky here, that could be on the metro wagons, potentially on the train, on the tram, and on the bus as well. Like we saw an experiment in Barcelona with 5G. The perceived value will primarily reside in two important areas. Number one, improving the public transport user's experience with more security, more comfort, and a friendly environment. And overall quality door-to-door planning, deciding, paying, commuting, and getting immediate rewards. How much did I save? How much calories did I spend? How much CO2 did I avoid putting up in the atmosphere? Decreasing CO2 emission, by the way, is the second big value perceived by encouraging more personal car users to consider and use public transport, and a combination of new urban mobility in complement. Biking seems to be the one that is getting most traction these days. Those are so the two elements of value. As many people involved with me in this prototype are either not informed enough or using an app to do it at all, this could be a solid driver to change the behavior of personal car users. Additionally, with all the features I'm envisioning and started to bulk up in the mobile app you see appear here, for existing public transport users to leverage such an application would make their journey way more productive, fun, effective, and rewarding. And by the way, the picture you see here is a real experience in the Paris metro of serving a lunch in a wagon. They didn't go very far, but the idea that we could have a solid lunch for French people on the metro was quite inviting. The adaptation of that mobile app to the large interactive display in the metro to start with would really make the commuting experience more entertaining and promote the mobile app big time. So people would use more of it, because the more users, the more security we could enjoy, as the alert mechanism I'm going to show you in a minute included could be very dissuasive for some individuals to prevent them to harass, aggress, but also to degrade the venue. Having many users allowing anonymous tracking could also provide a real-time crowdedness indicator of stations, wagons, or buses, helping commuters avoid too crowded places in respect for COVID-19 sanitary measures. All those things can happen the more users we have. Now, I'm sure you want to see the app. So I recorded a little interaction of the application that I'm going to comment for you, but you can also play with it directly by clicking on that link, and the prototype is accessible to you. So let's see how it looks like. First, I'm going to pick my destination. I can see the previous destinations. I can stop now or plan for later, connect my calendar, but basically, and have some favorites there. I decide to go to my destination. I picked it. Again, I'm offered the different modes I can use: biking, walking, taking a car, or just plain public transport. I decide plain public transport. And now I have my route indicated, my plan. Where do I need to go, step by step to go to the station and so forth. And now I'm on the journey. When I'm on the journey, I have, first of all the indication of the next step I need to take, but I can do stuff. First of all, I can see if I have friends that are close to me and engage conversation. For security, I can have an SOS or alert. I can do some shopping and pick my things at destination. I can see the street view, and I can do some gaming. So some of the things we've added. Let's dive in. Warning, I want to signal something around me, like someone being aggressed, someone in the medical condition, or just someone not really civic and doing bad things around me. I can also ask for a virtual escort, which has been requested by women when they come back late at night, for instance, using public transport and knowing when you get home. There is a more emergency button, SOS, and this is when something is happening to me and maybe I'm losing 50% of my ability and I want to go quick and alert and have different means to do that. The last element is about the preference, and I won't detail that now. So you get a glimpse of what the application, the prototype we've been doing collectively has offered. Now, what are the resources and needs to make it happen, really, for this application and those big screens to populate? Well, in order to make it happen, the major need is to convince Mobilité Île-de-France, where you have a link to that, to fund the development of the application and host it as part of their services. Because this is the organization that has a view on all transport modes within the region, whether public or some related like new urban mobilities, renting bike or something like that. They can orchestrate all of that. They would also be the authority to approve the installation of those giant interactive screens we're envisioning, sponsored by someone like JCDecaux, for instance, at no cost. They did similar agreement to have bus stations for free for the local government, just because they carried some advertising. So that was their business model. We could replicate the same. When linking this application to the Navigo Pass, which is used by 4.3 million people in the Paris region, they're using this to subscribe and pay for their journey already. Commuters pay and subscribe with it. This will help boost the awareness of the application and the adoption of it. Adding its loyalty program to it will be a plus. Now, we want to add sponsors like JCDecaux to fund for the giant interactive screens advertising business model, but retailers willing to appear in the shopping feature in the app in exchange for a commission on transactions. Similarly, pharmacies, Paris museums, all touristic venues. VTCs like Uber could also be interested, and Lime renting scooters, electric scooters, and many more. That will forge a solid base for the application and the big screens business model viability. Based on the 2019 launch of the Navigo Pass on the mobile phone, which is effective today, we could expect this new application and the big screens to take about 2 to 3 years to become mainstream, as we can attest back to that experience. Thank you very much. Very excited about this.